What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the one J Osh. Welcome back to the show. First video after the 1K subs. Appreciate all y'all watching. We doing this on Michael Jackson, the GOAT. My GOAT. Alright? The greatest pop star of all time. The king of pop himself. And this video is how good was Michael Jackson actually. I know how good this man was. This man ain't had no social media. This man coming out on stage would just stand there, take his glasses off, females passing out. Stop it. Everybody passing out. This man didn't have to do nothing. He was order farming before it was a thing. This man's the GOAT, alright? And we gonna watch this, alright? I already know. I'm just enjoying this. I'm putting some of you youngins on. Y'all don't understand. Y'all be talking about Chris Brown, Taylor Swift, Drake, all these. Get out of my face with it. I ain't hearing it. I ain't hearing it. This man, do you know how big Michael Jackson was? Bro, it ain't in comparison.
When Michael Jackson performed,
it's not in comparison. Stopped. Bro, this man was dominant in other countries. Easy, bro. Everywhere. You can't go to a country and people don't know who Michael Jackson is.
Stadiums overflowed. Fans fainted at the sound of his voice. Thriller alone outsold.
The greatest album of all time. Go argue with your mama. I don't care. Thriller. Not touching it. Nobody's touching it. Nobody touched this since. I'm over here knocking on my desk. My dog thinks somebody knocking at the door. Anyways, nobody's touching Thriller, bruh. Nobody. Off the Wall was cold. When this man dropped Thriller, it was over with. It was over
Everybody. And his influence, you can hear it on every pop star who's ever touched the stage since. But Michael wasn't perfect. He's been criticized for his live singing, his bad acting, and even though it's not his fault, he's been accused of having fake songs on his posthumous albums.
August 2022. Do you think that those were actually Michael's vocals or not?
If I tell you today,
right now,
I can tell you right now that no.
Michael, wait, what are we talking about? Bro, he ain't got no control of what's going on when he dead. Talking about his voice, his vocals on 22. They're making money off this man while he dead, bro. I don't count. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not counting nothing after Michael passed. It's not happening, bro. I'm not
obviously became the king of pop, but the journey that made him one was far darker and much more complicated than most people realize. He's had to face rejection, doubt, and fight to prove himself again and again. So how good was Michael Jackson actually? In 1968, a little kid from Gary, Indiana walked into Motown Records.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you this too. Mike was such a big influence for black culture when it comes to music. Getting black people on MTV, bro. People seem to forget that, bro. Like this man was a trailblazer, bro. He was breaking down barriers too. It wasn't even just about him being the biggest pop star of all time. He literally made companies bend to his will, bro.
He outsang grown men who've been doing this for decades.
And he ain't lying, boy. Mike 10, 12 years old, cooking.
That kid was Michael Jackson. You see, the Jackson 5 weren't just another kid.
Come on, man.
They were something else entirely. Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, he said he'd never seen anything like it.
What was it the first time you saw the Jackson family when Michael Jackson came in? What were your first impressions when you saw them perform in front of you?
Well, I was floored. When I saw them perform, I was really floored.
Diana Ross introduced him to America on the Hollywood Palace in 1969.
That's a fact.
And Michael, the tiny kid with an afro bigger than his whole body, he grabbed the mic like he'd been performing for 50 years. But the part people don't always think about is, while other kids were learning multiplication tables,
boy, that boy Joe had that man working. His daddy had him just singing, bro. Forget school. You don't need school. You want to work in the steel mill the rest of your life like me?
Michael was learning choreography. While they were playing tag at recess, he was in the studio.
He had no childhood, bro.
Actually, you're becoming like a stage addict. I really am. Like when there are off days and there is no show, I'm up at night dancing just the same. It's really strange. I guess I'm an addict. Can't help it.
Joe Jackson didn't believe in childhood. He believed in perfection. He got it. Through this thing right here, or if you're black, you're probably familiar with the switch.
But hey, hold on. That ain't just a black thing. Nah, brother. That might be like a southern thing probably too. More than a black thing, brother, because I got switches. Go pick a switch. Go pick it. No, don't try to be smart with it either. Belt, come on, belt, extension cord, hey, you name them. Shh.
Michael would later say he was so terrified of his father that he'd vomit when he saw him coming. Now think about that, a kid so scared of his dad that he'd get physically sick. But that same kid would walk on stage and command an audience of thousands of people. By 1970, the Jackson 5 had 4 consecutive #1 hits. I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, I'll Be There. No group had ever done that before.
Boy.
Michael was 11 years old singing
All
about love and
classics.
heartbreak in a way that would make grown women cry. But the thing is, it gets complicated because that success came with a price. Every interview, every photo shoot, Berry Gordy's team would remind him, you're not children, you're professionals. Michael couldn't make friends his own age. He couldn't go to school dances.
Nope.
He couldn't even hardly go outside without causing a riot. He
course
later
not.
talked about staring out hotel windows, watching kids play in the park, just watching. Michael just wanted to be normal. But the thing is, he wasn't normal. You see, he was talented, but not just talented, he was absolutely obsessed
Bro, he
with
was
music.
cold,
Who did
bro.
you start listening to get your kind of singing style?
James Brown. I said James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. because I like the kind of things they do, like fast music.
What did you borrow from them?
Well,
Funky,
I
too.
do most of his dancing on stage, and I just like the way Sammy sings.
And the music was incredible. But behind every perfect performance, there was a child who had been hit for missing a step. Behind every smile, it was a kid who didn't know what it was to just be a kid. By 1979, Michael was 21 and
Boy.
desperate to prove something. The Jackson 5 had left Motown and became the Jacksons. But Michael, he wanted more. He needed more.
My name is James Phillips. I'd like to know, first of all, how do you feel being up there alone, and are you gonna make appearances by yourself?
No, I'm just doing this because these are solo songs for my album, and they put them on the Jackson 5 album.
Now enter Quincy Jones. The
Quincy
man who worked
Jones.
with everyone from Frank Sinatra to Count Basie. When Quincy agreed to produce Michael's solo album, people thought it was weird. A jazz legend working with a former child star to make pop and disco music. But it was a match made in heaven. Quincy and Mike, they also worked together on the movie The Wiz,
Wiz, yep.
and a year later, they
Off
dropped
the Wall.
Off the Wall. Don't Stop Till
Off the Wall was underrated. They don't talk about Off the Wall enough. I'm gonna be honest, because it was his first. But, bro, Off the Wall is a classic too, bro. I'm
Get
be
enough,
honest.
it still gets played in movies and social events. The album went platinum 4 times, a part that nobody really talks about. Despite selling millions and 4 top 10 singles, the album just got 2 Grammy nods and only 1 win. Michael sat in that audience watching other artists win awards he knew he deserved, and something in him just snapped. He told his lawyer that night, my next album is gonna be the biggest album of all time. Now, most people would have called him crazy. A 21-year-old kid talking about he's gonna make the biggest album ever. Yeah, he was Michael Jackson, but he wasn't the king yet. Now, Michael had been competing with adults since he was 5. He knew he was talented, but he learned that talent wasn't enough. You needed to be undeniable. Now, the thing is, Off the Wall should have been enough. It revolutionized pop music, it made disco sound sophisticated, but the industry still saw him as Little Michael, still as Diana Ross's protege, just one of the Jacksons. November 29th, 1982,
Thriller.
the day the music industry changed forever. Thriller wasn't supposed to happen the way that it did.
Bruh.
CBS executives wanted another Off the Wall, a safe, successful, profitable
Nah, bump
album.
all that.
But Michael and Quincy had other plans. They wanted to create an album where every song could be a single. Every track had to be perfect. But
Bruh.
let me tell you about MTV first,
And
because you
was
can't
it?
understand the impact Thriller had without understanding this. The MTV launched in 1981 as music
Oh, they're
television.
gonna talk about it.
They had a very specific format, mostly rock music. They said Michael didn't fit their demographic. When Billie Jean dropped, everybody knew it was a hit, but MTV still wasn't convinced. It wasn't until the president of CBS Records, Walter Yetnikoff, he threatened to pull all of CBS's artists from their rotation until they played Michael Jackson. And once they did, Billie Jean became one of their most requested videos. It opened doors for not just Michael, but for countless artists who came after. But see, Michael wasn't done. It was Motown's 25th anniversary, and Michael was supposed to perform with his brothers. He did, but then he asked for a solo spot. He came out with his fedora, kind of like this one, black jacket, silver glove, the Billie Jean bass line started to play, and then, you know what happened. But Michael still wasn't done changing
Man,
history.
I might have
For
to-
the Thriller
I ain't
video,
gonna lie, I
he
might
made
have
it
to
into a
react to that
14-minute
Motown
short film.
performance, bro.
Cost $500,000. Before Thriller, music videos were basically film performances. They might have had some simple effects, but after Thriller, videos basically became mini movies.
Bro.
Artists started hiring film directors, budgets exploded, storylines. We see it today still. It all became standard because of Michael. He basically changed what it means to make a music video. Now,
His
Thriller, the album,
his creativity was different.
it
bro.
damn near destroyed every record that ever existed. Best-selling album of 1983, of 1984, of all time. We're talking 70 million copies, 7 singles in the top 10, 8 Grammy.
Bro, this is around where we didn't have streams. We didn't have, you can just download it on your phone, bruh. People was getting physical copies of his, bruh.
Grammys in one night.
I don't
But
think you understand.
Success is complicated,
Bro.
because now everybody wanted a piece of Michael Jackson. The Pepsi commercial that went wrong, his hair caught on fire during a pyrotechnic malfunction. That's when the painkillers started. Then he got backlash for his pop success. Black radio stations started saying he abandoned his community, and rock critics says he was too commercial. People who ignored him during Off the Wall now saying he's over.
Hey, look, you know you're doing something right when you get hate. I'm be honest. That's just the truth. When you got haters, that means you're doing something right. You got to give them something to hate on.
Exposed.
They trying
And
to
all of
find
this
something
was
to hate
just
on.
the start of what would eventually become his Achilles heel, the media. Now, fast forward, Michael has spent 3 years preparing for a follow-up album. I mean, the pressure of following Thriller must have been crazy. I mean, imagine trying to follow up the Bible. What do you write next? Bad.
Bad, boy. Oh,
5
my
number one
God.
singles from one album. The Bad tour
Oh, my
became the
God.
highest grossing tour in history. But there was another conversation happening. Prince.
I ain't gonna lie. Prince and Michael, boy. At one point, there was. I still think that Mike, like all time, is just he's him, bro. But I think Prince, like, bro, Prince could play every instrument, bro. Prince was so talented too, bro. There's a lot of artists you shouldn't even compare to Prince, bro. Like. Purple
See, while
Rain,
Michael
boy.
was breaking sales records, Prince was breaking musical boundaries. Purple Rain, Sign of the Times. Critics loved to pit them against each other. Michael was pop, Prince was art. Michael could dance, but Prince could play multiple instruments. Michael actually wanted to collab with Prince. He reached out for him to do a duet on Bad. But when Prince heard the song, he heard the first line and he wasn't quite down for that.
The first line of that song is "Your butt is mine."
Your butt is mine.
Now I said, who gonna sing that to whom? Cause you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So right there we got a problem.
So the rivalry, it wasn't real.
I'm dead.
Not really. They respected each other. But the media always needs a story. And unfortunately, Michael became a prime target for that. The media discovered they could
Michael's
sell
still
more
the
magazines
biggest,
by
bro.
calling him
He was
Wacko
still the
Jacko
biggest.
than by celebrating
Mike
his
Jack,
music.
bro.
Every weird thing he did became a headline. He bought a chimp, front page news. He slept in a hyperbaric chamber? He didn't, but who cares about the truth? Headlines for weeks. And then they got their biggest story yet.
I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help, okay? But when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
Michael had developed vitiligo, a disease that destroys skin pigmentation. It was something that defined him in both positive and negative ways. But instead of compassion,
That's messed up, bro.
he got mockery.
Yeah, bro.
By the time the Dangerous album
It
came
made it
out,
seem like Mike turned white. Like he was choosing it. like he wanted that. He for sure wanted that. Huh?
Michael was pushing boundaries again. New Jack Swing with Teddy Riley, Industrial Sounds, Black or White became the most watched television event of 1991. But the Wacko Jacko stories, they just kept coming. He was buying the Elephant Man's bones. He was sleeping in an oxygen tank. The stories got more and more ridiculous. But some
Had to
people
write about
started to
something.
believe him. I mean, at the very least, it started to shape his image. The irony is, while some people were calling him a freak, he was still revolutionizing music. The choreography he created during this era, I mean, it's still copied today. Watch any K-pop group. That's Michael. But see, Michael, he made one critical mistake. You see, Michael was nice and trusting, but a little too trusting.
Bro, he was a
See, Michael had his own
philanthropist, bro.
theme park, and he would
cared
let
ab- he
kids
cared
and their
about people,
families
bro.
come stay with him.
Cared about
everything was
animals.
cool. He never had a childhood, so he wanted to do that. But in 1993, everything came crashing down. In August of 1993, Michael Jackson was accused of, let's just say, doing not so nice things to children. Now, this has been a sore subject around Michael Jackson for a long time, but we gotta talk about what it did to him. Because whether you believe he was innocent or guilty, what happened next was basically a public execution. The accusation came during the Dangerous tour. Michael was performing at sold-out stadiums when police raided his home. Media coverage was relentless. I mean, it was so bad he had to cancel the tour. He became dependent on painkillers just to function. The case was eventually settled outside of court, but I mean, the damage was permanent. Next thing you know, the History album drops. It was half greatest hits and half new material. And the new songs, they were angrier, more defiant. They Don't Care About Us, Scream, Stranger in Moscow. This wasn't the same Michael who sang The Way You Make Me Feel. This was somebody who was hurt and wounded. Now, of course, it's Michael, so the album and the tour was still successful, but you could tell there was something broken that just couldn't really be fixed. The allegations came back in 2003. Then came the trial. He was acquitted on all charges.
Bro, they searched, never found a thing. Every freaking kid that was really there always said, nah, nothing happened. Like, bro, the parents wanted money, bro. They got greedy. People, you know, people was using his kindness for weakness. Come on, like, we know what's up, bro. We know what's up, bro. Mike didn't have no childhood, so he just, like, catered to kids, bro. His whole place was like a big kid's place because he just wanted to be a big kid, bro. We know what it was, bro. He got abused and made into perfection as an artist by his daddy. And with that, he ain't had no real childhood, bro. So he would just, to other people, of course, like, yeah, he's an older guy and he's weird. That's what it looks like. But, like, man, he was just misunderstood, bro. That's
acquittal doesn't necessarily mean
if he
vindication.
look, and I want to put this really plain and simple. If he really did the things that he did, then he deserves to get punished. I'm not sitting here defending, like, if he didn't do it, like, if he did do it, then, oh, like, oh, no, this still don't matter. No, it matters. If he did it, he should got punished. But, like, bro, everybody who tried to get him always had something to gain. And then eventually, there was one dude, when he passed away, the dad killed himself. Why would he do that after Michael passed away? Because he was trying to ish on that man's name. Stop
By
it,
this
bro.
point, Michael proved himself to be one of the greats. But he has still not topped the success of Thriller, and his career was starting to go on the decline. So he wanted to try to top himself one more time. But he had another demon to battle with, Sony Music Entertainment. In 2001, Michael dropped Invincible, his last studio album. Sony barely promoted it. They were in a war with Michael over masters and money, but it still debuted at #1 and still went double platinum. It was a failure for Michael Jackson, but it was still a success that most artists would kill for.
In Michael Jackson standards, it wasn't that good. But guess what?
Sheen was breaking
In everybody
down.
else's standards, he still
That's
cooked
what
everybody.
It wasn't because he wasn't making money. I mean, Michael had lots of assets, but the lawsuits never stopped coming and everything just seemed like it was closing in on him. So Michael wanted one last hurrah. In 2009, he announced the This Is It tour. 50 concerts at London's O2 Arena, sold out in hours. He was 50 years old, rehearsing like he was 25. The
Bro,
footage
I
from the
remember.
rehearsals, I mean,
I remember
he was
this,
still
bro.
magical. Still had
I
that thing that
remember
made him
exactly
different
where I
from
was,
everyone
bro.
else. But he
I
was
was so
also
excited.
fragile. He couldn't sleep without meds, and he barely weighed 130 pounds. And on June 25th, 2009, the King of Pop was pronounced dead at UCLA Medical Center.
According to the Los Angeles Times, pop star Michael Jackson died this afternoon.
Both the Los Angeles Times and CBS News are both now reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
His death was devastating, and according to some, it's still a mystery. But on the bright side, his legacy is still felt.
We
not
know
just
what
by
it
music
was,
people,
bro.
but all of us. So, how good was Michael Jackson actually? I mean, the numbers are untouchable. Over 1 billion records sold,
We know what it
13
was,
Grammy
bro.
wins, 39 Guinness World
We
Records.
know what it was.
Thriller alone has sold more than
That
most
doc killed
artists'
him.
entire careers combined.
I ain't
But
going.
numbers, they don't quite capture it. Not really. Watch Beyonce perform. That's Michael. Watch Bruno Mars, Michael, The Weeknd, Justin Timberlake, Usher, Chris Brown, all of them. I mean, they're all trying to copy what he had. Even the K-pop
Bro,
groups.
literally everybody says that Michael inspired. Bro, Chris Brown won't even let you even put him in the same breath as Mike. Rightfully so. I like Breezy, but rightfully so. Like, we know, bro, this man, bro, for generations to come, people like are going to be inspired by
BTS,
Mike.
they're walking through doors
BTS
that
same
Michael
way.
opened. He changed what it
Not
meant
like
to be a
BTS.
pop star. Before Michael, pop stars, they sang songs, but after, they created whole worlds around their albums and different eras.
He's the reason why people do mini movies for their music videos.
Music videos weren't just promotional tools, they became art. He changed the game for concerts. He even changed the whole landscape of MTV. A black kid from Gary, Indiana became the biggest star on the planet. He made music that transcended language, race, culture, everything. Was he perfect? Of course not.
No.
He didn't play instruments as good as Prince, and on his live shows, his voice got strained and he didn't sound as good as the record. Michael's impact was way bigger than music. Michael Jackson had his childhood stolen, had his appearance mocked, his reputation destroyed, his every move criticized. He never got that comeback. Never got that final victory lap where the world just celebrated him.
The baby
maybe that's what
balcony,
makes his greatness.
that was kind of crazy.
He never stopped trying to give everything he had to heal the world through his music.
At your concerts, there are hundreds of people in the audience yelling, "Michael, Michael!" What do you feel like?
When they're all holding hands and everybody's rocking and all colors of people are there, all races, and it's the most wonderful thing.
Now, Michael was so good that 15 years later after his death, pop stars are still chasing what he achieved. I have a video about how every modern artist, possibly your favorite artist, is still copying Michael Jackson. Watch this video on the screen next, and I'll catch you over there. Until next time, peace.
Great video. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all know what I feel. I said, Mike the GOAT. I don't care. That Michael movie was great. I'm ready for a second one. Simple. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 5K, man. 5,000 subscribers. Appreciate every one of y'all, man. It's your boy, the what? J. Osh, and I'm out. Hee!